Joneson. A bunch of
Yeah.
people are like, I've been chatting with a bunch of people, including like the hookup.
Yeah.
And they're all getting like super hyped. Max Lewis just sent us the new and improved Raptor. Chatting with it, and everyone's like, it's iced out, it's iced out, it's iced out, it's iced out. I'm like, I know,
not yet.
I've literally been counting the seconds.
So here's the update for the weather up in Michigan, you guys. We're looking at intermittent 50s. We're getting 50s here and there. Sometimes it drops down a little bit, but we've had a lot of rain. Rain and wind are good. So
that's what we expect.
Yeah. When it warms up, we get some rain, we get some wind. The ice that is on our lakes will break apart, go away, and that would be fantastic. So that is what I'm hoping for in the next couple of weeks. I think Paul and I have kind of a over-under bet going on 3 to 4 weeks right now. Is that what we're saying, Paul?
Yeah, I think so. And some of it depends on getting at least a big portion of one of these builds done. Where you got 50s coming up, but it's still 20s and 30s during the day. And, if you get sun, you're lucky. But yeah, lots of rain. And I think we got about 2 to 3 weeks left before we're into fishing season.
Yeah.
Fish catching season is a different thing because catching is difficult. That's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've seen people find some open water spots recently in the spring, and they've been like, well, I caught bupkis, but I caught some vibes too, and that was great. Whenever you get a line wet, it's not a bad deal.
Hey,
let's be
100%. We did have, first of all, Michelle White says, hey guys, I picked up my new Shoalie yesterday. I'm over the moon. You should be. That's fire. You should be super hyped. Congratulations. And then right under that, Elliot Cutright says, hey, nerds. And I would call out, Jeff, there was a question on Instagram that I couldn't answer because I couldn't remember. How long is your paddle that you use? Is it 145?
No, it's way long. I hit them up. I have like it's the angler, the pro angler one from Bending Branches. And it
Angler
is like
Pro. Yep.
Yeah, the Angler Pro is like 265 to like 270 something.
Oh, that's the one.
It's extendable. So yeah, I hit them up in the DMs, but yeah,
good.
Go for longer is better on wider boats, right? Elliot's got it, and he was asking like that seat does sit up high, so even longer on the paddle.
You can go either way, but yes, the seat is very tall and it's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can flip it down. Also, welcome. I'm gonna go with Wagai Fishing. Does that not look like
say Waji?
Wagai. Welcome.
We got it right. Aboard. If you say neither, now I need something phonetic. Do better.
Waggy. Anyways, just joined the Burley Bunch Elite, so welcome aboard. Fantastic to have you. Next members only live is when is it, Paul? It's
March
like
11th.
next week, next Tuesday. There you go. It's gonna be a blast.
Seems like we just did this yesterday.
It does feel like that. So next Tuesday, 8:15 p.m. Eastern, we'll see you guys there. If you are a member, and if you're not, click join below and you'll find out what it's all about. All right, we're talking spring fishing, y'all. So we're going to talk a little about the gear prep. We've got some gear prep videos coming out for you guys, lots of new rods and some new reels, and we're going to be pairing them up. We're on a quest right now for some new spinning reels. So if anybody has any suggestions in the I think we're shooting like 99 to 160 bucks, we'll call it, is like our typical go-to price range for decent spinning reels. Do we get a Vanford this year, Paul? Do we break our own rule and get a Vanford?
Do we?
Maybe. Maybe, I don't know.
About $250. We can get a hookup for 15 or 20% off usually. So that's still around $220, $210, somewhere in there.
The old one's on sale right now, $200 on Cabela's.
The new one's very different though.
Old Vanford. Yeah.
Old Vanford's still very nice. New one's very different.
Yes, it is. It is. So I don't know, but other than that, I've seen a lot of new $99 ones. Arc has a decent $99 one, and there's a bunch of other ones I've been jonesing to try. The new Lose. What is it? The light?
The custom?
Yeah, the custom light. I want to try the custom light. It looks pretty sick.
Very expensive. They are always very clunky. I'm not interested, but I would.
Those were 100 to 150. But then there was the Daiwa BG.
That's the one that I would really. Yeah,
it's on sale.
And frankly, the Tatula has got my interest. After kind of looking at some at $200, it's very
$199. Yep.
But I don't know. I could be convinced. Part of it is I have the Elite, and that's the Elite, the Tatula Elite reel. So that combo would be kind of freaking sick. And it's not going to be.
$500 combo, just a little casual, man.
But also, my most used by far
Oh, it will be for sure. I could see the Daiwa BG happening. I'm down to grab one as well. Yep. Come on, guys, get a Daiwa Exist. No, I'm not spending 800 plus on a Daiwa Exist. Thank you. Kestrel or Royal Legend Pro. We have a Kestrel. Paul has it.
Yep.
Daiwa 24, the Geekabajin. I don't know how to pronounce that still, but it looks like a sick reel, a little out of the price range. But yeah, we're gonna mess around, flip around actually, and find out. We're gonna drop around and find out, because really we're talking about spring fishing. There's gonna be some drop shotting happening. I guarantee you guys that. And having that medium light set up with a solid 2,000 2,500 size reel that we have faith in would be awesome. So stay tuned. Maybe I just steal Paul's Miravel or buy my own. I don't know. Let's find out.
Honestly, the Miravel is great. I've always loved mine. I told people that, and I've said many times that I think it's worth the money. I know people would disagree because of Nasi. And look, frankly, if you're not somebody who's like kind of living and dying by a spinning reel, it's probably not worth it. But like the spinning reel is I
use it every
50%, and sometimes it's 70%. Like it's always there.
It's always there. Yep. Oh, hey, before we get into the meat of this stuff, welcome to the Shark Deuce crew, J-Rod 95. Welcome aboard. Let's go. Let's start the members rolling this week. I love it. So yeah, and then Feather Outdoors asked, hey, are we talking about red lures tonight? I'll be honest, man. We don't use them that much, but we have them on deck at all times. They're like, it's a spring staple. We're gonna throw them. I wouldn't say it's like my ultimate spring confidence color, even though it is for a lot of folks out there, especially mid-country down south. I know those guys throw red, like exclusively red. If you're on Gunnersville and you're not throwing red, you're a silly guy right now. But for me, it's usually bluegill or craw patterns. So if it's red, it's like that. But there's another spring craw that I prefer over that one with some greens.
That's the green.
Greens and oranges. I throw those a lot. So I don't know. That's our personal preference. It tends to get bit. I do feel like Paul and I will do a day this spring where we go exclusively red just to see if we can like break out of that. Oh, also that one is so sick. The painted lip on that thing, insane. So if you guys are just listening, Paul's showing off some lures that we got from Norman and Bandit through LureNet. And there's some new colors. They're like craw pattern colors.
The irony is this one's not going to happen, but there's a tomato color that's basically a reverse of what we used last year. Yep. So bummed this one's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. That is,
but like I'm using this one.
we gave 4 of them away, I think, and then Paul and I each kept 1, so we have 2 of this color that's unreleased. So I'm pretty excited about it. But all right, let's do our Q of the D, and then let's jump into the show talking about some spring tackle, late winter, early spring tackle that we're going to be throwing. I guess I should specify. So Q of the D, Paul, what do we got? You're running at like 1 bit all right, an hour.
So this one's Charles, we're gonna need your help here because I think I would like to do.
There it is. You're freezing up a lot. All right. He's not a super delay. All right, so I know what Paul is trying to say. I'm gonna let you catch up on this, but Chaz, we want to do a poll on the Q of the D for the kayaks that we're going to be testing out at Waterdog in April. They're coming up, but we're looking at the XTR, the Bonafide XTR, and the Native Slayer LTE. And what we want to hear from you guys is, have you checked these out? First of all, have you checked them out? If you have any idea, vote on these. Which one do you think is the better kayak? If we were to be like, oh, I don't know, let me just grab one of these bad boys, which one would you want to see us actually using? We are going to test them out, as well as a bunch of other models of kayaks we haven't tested out recently when we get up to Waterdog. So, Paul, what are your thoughts? The XTR or the LTE? Where do you lean?
For me, it's going to be the LTE just because of the price point and the length. But like the XTR, I think it's a known quantity too, because so many people have used it, done reviews on it, already loaded it out. Like we know it's good. You know what it is. The LTE, I don't know. It's a question. And I also think that having had like the old version of it, like in the Old Town PDL, like I think that I'm hyped to try that one just because I have a lot more experience with it. And the LTE, as much as I like it, it's not going to be for me. It's cool. And I love a big kayak, but it's probably not going to be for me.
You mean the XTR? Yeah, I got you.
Sorry.
The XTR. Yeah. So, hey, you got to tell us how you say your name, man. Is it Wagai? Wagi? Waji?
I was right. He put it in there.
He did put it. Is it Waji? That's what you said? All right, Waji. I apologize. I'm sorry. So Waji Fishing says, but it got an XTR. Thing is a yacht. And 100% it is. I've seen people in it. I've seen two big guys in it. It's huge. Personally, for me, I love a little baby yacht. Like I would probably love the XTR, especially knowing that the front standing platform is super stable. I like the idea of that, as well as the whole battery placement up front. Lots of cool things about it, but I get that it comes down totally to a preference, and I could see the LTE being awesome as well. And then Carl Coles calls out the Wilderness Tactical Pro 128, which is another one that I would say I'm very interested in trying out. I love that it's pre-wired. I already have a bow mount motor. Now Paul does too. So like if I wound up with that boat, it would be cool to just pop my Motor Guide XI3 over onto that thing and test it out. And I like a lot of the features that they have on it too. But right now, going over to the poll in chat, it's pretty close, Paul. It's like 47 to 53% right now. Favor goes to the Slayer LTE at the moment. So people kind of lean in the direction of those 10 footers, those like throw-ish and go-ish. That one's pretty light for a pedal kayak. It's surprisingly light, I think. It's
I think
a bit
people
more
are just
narrow.
getting sick of seeing like a $9,000 setup. Like people are
more like
done with that.
15.
Like we're talking about
Yeah.
$2,500 gets you into like, you know, well, 12, but like once you add the XTR is not paddleable. It's not designed for that. Like you're adding electronics and a motor, you're at 10 grand, done. Easy.
You get the mini skiff with a 9.9 on it. That's what you do. You get the 9.9 Merc, you throw it on a skiff, you have a good old time. If you guys follow, who do we follow with the subs? Is like Sup Customs Live Sports or something on Instagram, Paul? Yeah. They've got a ton of those. Live Sports, thank you. And yeah, they just rip around on these sups that they make custom. They're killer. So I can see that. That would be awesome. Chris Russ here, member for 7 months, says, reminded that it is still winter with a blizzard in Iowa today. BS. So ready to get on the water. I feel you, Chris. Sorry that you had the blizzard there. We had a weird day. Like that was last week, Paul. We got the heavy snowflakes that were just dropping on us.
2
that
weeks.
was wild.
Oh yeah, but it didn't stick. It like was gone.
It stuck for like half a day,
and
and now my whole yard and entire town is mud. It's just a big mud puddle where I live right now. It's great. I love letting my dog out to pee, and then I have to like hose him down when he comes back. Freezing water. Sorry, buddy. All right.
Matthew Foster says, Paul, you guys have a collection of gear I'm jealous of. Would love to do fishing YouTube for a living like y'all. This is not for a living. This is for a dying.
For funsies.
Yeah, this is for fun.
For passing away.
Because honestly, I like making videos. I like chatting with people. I like working on this. It's fun, but it is definitely not for a living. It is for a deceasing.
I would say, Matthew, just not to like, I don't know, cramp anybody's dreams out there, but 99.9% of the anglers you see on YouTube are not doing this for a living. That 0.1% that is crushing it. They lined up a lot of good deals. They're doing great with their content. They're consistent with that content, and they're getting the consistent number of views that you need to like make enough YouTube revenue to make it a thing. Not to cramp anybody's style. Like it's not for everybody.
They're independently wealthy, and this is a not required thing that they do that is awesome. Or their spouse makes enough money where they don't really need to make money because you're not making money doing this.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, if we keep doing this, it's because we love it. Like you have to love it. If you want to do this, Matthew, if you want to do this, just make sure that you like really love doing not just fishing,
the video stuff,
all the other stuff.
All the like I like making videos. Like honestly, we've been asked like, I mean, I've had conversations where I'm like, would I want to quit? And I'm like, I know what would happen. I know exactly what would happen. I'd quit. I'd stop doing all the stuff that I do. And I'd be like, cool, I have free time. That's nice. And then in 2 weeks, I'd be like,
do it again.
I'd be thinking about a video. I'd be like, yo, I can make that. Or I'd be like, seeing other people try stuff. I'm like, I could have done that. Like, it's just, and I would be dead. I'd be devastated.
Yeah. I mean, it's It's kind of like, you know, when you drive past any body of water and you're like, yo, I bet there's fish in there. It's like you get these ideas for videos and you're like, yo, I bet I could make
I bet it would bang.
Or did anybody do this when you were a kid and your parents were driving you somewhere? You would pretend like you were on a dirt bike next to the window,
Snowboard.
just like rip or snowboard when it, just like ripping. That was like the way we passed time.
100%.
You had
no
nothing
TVs,
to watch.
no phone, nah, no disc man,
just like on the window.
I am literally ollieing over 88 of these cows.
Yep. Or you're racing raindrops down the window.
Now when the raindrops are falling, now you have obstacles.
Let's go.
Obstacles.
I love it. All right. So XTR versus the LTE. Oh, it flipped. It flipped. The XTR
Not
just
by
took
much.
over.
By about 4 votes, 6 votes.
50 votes in. We're at 52% to 48%. So I'd say it's been 6 minutes this has been running. Let's close that. XTR takes it by a slim margin. So congrats to Bonafide. Way to keep trouncing the redheaded stepchild that is native watercrafts. I love it. All right. Let's get into the spring fishing stuff. We need to talk.
Right. So the way I want to do it is we're going to give you guys, Jeff, you'll have to go through the list to add the ones that I missed. I just put in very quickly, what did I do? 3, 4, 6, and I put 9, technically 12, but 9 baits in here. Tactics, really. And what I want to talk about is we're going to talk about the bait, and then we'll talk about the setup that you want to use. And then the last thing is I want to do the wear. Like, what am I looking for? Like, you know, when I see X, when am I breaking this out?
Word. All right. So first up, let's go with the jerk bait. I mean,
dude, this one's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
this is number one.
Starting with.
It's the king. It's the first one. It's the first setup I did. The question I would have is, I know your answer, but what's your favorite kind of jerk bait, and what does your setup look like?
I like the larger jerk baits. I go for the 3 trebles, the 110s, 100 to 110 millimeter type jerk bait. And then, I mean, our comment section is undefeated. They'll let you know the Megabass Vision 110, the ultimate cold water jerk bait. It is impossible to replicate or beat. There are other great jerk baits. It's not to say that they're not great, but the Megabass Vision 110 is the ultimate. So I will be throwing, thanks to the hookup tackle, I now have like 6 110s where I used to have 1, and I was like, my baby, my sweet, sweet baby,
my boy.
Don't ever throw this. You'll lose it.
You're risking life and death every time you go out there.
100%. But I will be throwing a 110. I think I've got a few other backups, but that's definitely my go-to this year. That's one of them. We got the Flashpoint. I've also got some Lucky Crafts I want to throw that I haven't had before. And then I've got like the Rapalas and Berkeley Stunnas, the likes. So throwing those a bunch. I think I still have a couple of Provokes too.
Yeah, I got a couple. So this is, I love these. So this is my personal favorite. I also like that same size quite a bit. I do like the smaller ones too.
Yep. I think they definitely got their time and their place, but I tend to like to go with the big boy first and then downsize. Yeah.
So this is actually a Daiwa product. This one was in testing actually. And no, this is a Megabass. This one
that was
this one's a Megabass.
XR80 maybe?
70. And I love these. These actually have a ton of action on them. And when you get a nice bright color that's like really reflective, they draw a lot of fish. Some of the biggest fish sometimes come on these little guys. So I do like these. This will be the first thing I have tied on in a slightly different color. I like a suspender though. That's when I use them the most. So yeah, suspending jerkbait. I like a 6-foot diver, at least 6 to 10 foot is like the money spot usually.
Yeah.
And then
for now,
how do you put on? The reason I like suspending is because you're going to pause it. And when they rise, you lose fish. A lot of times fish will lose interest when they're going up. So I like the suspender, and it better like stop.
I'm throwing.
When I stop, you die, and you just stay there. And then 100%. I like Tim Antiow actually asked the question I was going to say next. I personally, if it's a quality bait caster, I like the bait caster. Now, that said, if it's like equal quality, I actually go with a spinning setup. But then it has to be longer, and I can't really do the action quite as well. So in general, I'm 70% probably picking a bait caster.
I am casting. I'm doing the suspending. I'm favoring a 4 to 6 foot diver. It's like the most common one you find on the shelf. and I'm throwing those in popular spring colors. Around here in the spring, I like throwing white. I like throwing bluegill, a lot of bluegill colors, and I like throwing perch after all of those other ones are exhausted. That's like
Here's
the
what
other
I
one I
have
can go
tied
with.
on for the beginning of the season.
Is it white? It's bone.
White with a green belly.
Oh,
So
is that the
like
shad one? It's got the flash on the
yes, it
side.
does. It's got the deadly. I like a big flashy one. And then I'm actually using like one of my lightest setups. So it's a little bit of shorter. This is the Arc Invoker or Arc Viper. And then you've got the Cast King MG12 on there. Say whatever you want. This MG12 is elite and it's freaking awesome. So that is like and that's a moderate action. Like you want a soft rod. So I would grab something that's in the 7-foot range, something that's got a whippy action, just whatever you're using for top water, use it for a jerkbait.
Yep. I'll be throwing mine. Dang, I just picked this out for that video, Paul. Was it the Cashin? I think I went with the Cashin.
You did. It was a moderate. Yep.
Yeah, I think was it the Icon too? Pretty sure I got a bougie jerkbait setup. You guys throw the Cashin, whether it's the Element or the Icon. That's the one I want to try this year. My one from last year is also in the lineup. It's a 7.2 from Fish NFX. And I would say like a medium mod is like home base. Medium heavy mod if you want. In fact, I think mine is a medium heavy, but it's like a softer tip for a medium heavy. It's got the backbone, it's the Cashin, but yeah, it's a medium heavy moderate action.
So I have the cranking moderate fast action medium heavy powder. Said medium power at a medium heavy. 7-footer. Takes a quarter to a 1 ounce. That's the other thing is you need a little more than you would think with the jerk baits. They weigh more than you think.
And you have a lot of resistance as you're twitching it in the water. So you want the rod to be able to handle that as well. So you can give it the action that it deserves. And then like Paul was saying earlier, you pause it for an eternity and then you get bit. So it's like twitch, pause for a year. And then, after you're done paying rent for several months in that spot in the water, a bass will come up and smack it.
If you have forward-facing sonar, you'll have a lot more confidence and or fun.
Sorry. Also that. And I would say fluorocarbon, guys. Fluorocarbon.
Yeah, all day. 100%.
Yeah, it gives it the right action, allows it to swim at the depth that you want it at. And say what you will, I think it gets you more bites, but, whatever. That's me.
Dakota says smaller, big old jerks, small twitches, big jerks. It depends on the day. And the deep divers. So if you're over 6 foot, I usually go bigger.
Yeah, I'd say like Dakota, when the bite slows down, I go smaller. That's like a typical go-to here in
not fast. Midwest. It's like boop.
Yep. Take a nap, have a snack,
boop.
Get a bite. Yeah. But I had a lot of fun on actually small jerk baits in the summer too. Just mess around when the bite slowed down. So yeah, there you go. There's did we cover how about spots? Where are you fishing your jerk bait?
Yeah, so when and where I'm looking for anything over grass, anything in a really big open area where there's a lot of depth. And also anytime there's bait fish around. That's like the money spot for a bait fish. I say always loop knot. That's only if there's not a split ring. If there's a split ring on it, especially an oval split ring, I don't worry about it.
I've found minimal difference at best on that. But some people say otherwise. Totally get it. If you don't have a split ring,
practice.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, just to practice knowing more than 2 knots.
Chris Roos says, what line? Look, I honestly, I mostly do like 15, 20 pound braid, but then I go down to like a 10 pound leader.
Yeah, it's a cranking set. I use the same for my crank setup. So it's like 15 to 20 pounds typically on the braid to, like Paul was saying, about half that weight that you can get away with on a fluorocarbon. So like a 10. You're good.
But I do like 15.8 would, if I could draw it up, it'd be 15.8. That's what I put on the new one because I could. And that is my cranking setup. But it's a soft rod. It's a moderate action. So the rod's going to save you and let you throw that lighter stuff.
Improve clinch. Improve clinch. Let's go. Loop not who. Improve clinch.
Loop clinch. Perfect.
Loop clinch. The loop
that's what I've got. So that's what we got. That's what we got for jerkbait. But that is the one. Like if I could only have one thing and I knew it was winter, that's probably what I would pick.
Yeah. All right.
Next up for me, this is a big one for me, but it's going to be a lipless. I know Jeff, not the biggest fan. I love a lipless. It's killer.
I'm a crazy person. That's why.
Well,
I'm going to force myself to throw them. this year, though.
Here's what I like about the lipless. We'll skip right to the where. When it's super deep water, you can get away with murder on a lipless because you can fish literally all of it surgically. Like the yo-yo will get it done, the drop will get it done. Like it's just going to be where you need it to be. But then when you go shallow randomly, you can burn it still, and it still gets the job done. There are some days where it's the one. I like them. I've had luck with them. I enjoy fishing them.
Yeah, it is, to your point, and JP called it out. It's super versatile, and I guess I don't like making fishing easy, so I don't throw them very much. That's what happened to me.
I mean, it is one of those things too, where it's like, it's just like anything else. You'll have one day on it and it'll be your new favorite, right? And then, but until that day, it's new, right? And it's like, why? I have a jerkbait. I have a tailspin, which you're going to talk about in a minute.
All these things. Yeah.
You got other options.
Yeah. And I would say for me, I don't get picky on the setup with that or with my crankbaits. I basically have like 3 rod and reel combos that I can rely on for cranks, jerks, lipless, all the above. I can be happy with. They're all running that 15 to 20 pound braid to a 8 to 10 pound fluorocarbon leader. I've run it on my SLX DC, and I've had a great time with that. I've run it on my Akuma Hakai as a reel. Had a good time with that. And then this year, I'm trying the Arc Gravity 2. That's a brand new reel for me to try. That's paired up with the Cashion right now. So I just want to get it on the water. I want to test it out. I can't give any feedback on it because I just got it, but it's very nice.
It looks just like the Gravity G1, except over here, here, you won't have this. You'll have the upgraded version.
Yeah, you get that 3 internal and 20 external adjustments, so 60 total adjustments.
You get the 3 position, which is honestly, I mean, it is the most advanced version of a spool as far as like getting dialed. It is the most like hyper customizable one out there. So it looks like that. It is wild.
It's
You're gonna have for $100.
Super smooth. I've never had an issue casting the Arc Gravity BFS, which has the same braking system on it. So I expect the G2 to perform at that level. I had a G5. I'll be honest with you guys. I had a couple issues with my G5.
That's this one. I'm actually going to clean it. I might do it while we're here on the show. I might lube it up.
So it's funny, Paul. I did do that halfway through the season last year, took it back out, still had similar issues. So when you clean it, I took it apart. I took it entirely apart. Took a look at everything internally, got it all cleaned up, took it back out. The issue that I had was out of the box, it was a little grindy. A little grindy, and I don't like that. I want a smooth reel, so it always just felt kind of funky. And the other thing I don't love about it is the front plate where your finger goes, at least if you're me, is plastic. And not to say that other reels don't have it plastic, but that one has some give to it. And it just kind of bothered me. So I'm gonna have
it actually really does.
It does have a lot of.
It feels almost like a button. But I think the problem is if this was $120 or $110,
I wouldn't care.
You'd be like still sick.
$190, that hurts.
Closer to 200, and I'm like, yo, that's you went into a very competitive price range. So we'll see. I really want to try the G7 or the G8. I'm gonna put some time onto it. I haven't picked a rod yet, but I'm probably going to just grab the general. I might grab the Z2 actually.
Do the all-purpose rod,
yeah. And then I'll put a little time onto it too. But I will say I've loved the G1. The G1 for the money is insane. You're like $80. It's freaking beast.
And the G2 is $100, so I'm excited to try that out because I've had a great experience with the Arc BFS. So, I'm not saying like, poo-poo on Arc here. I'm saying we've got other reels we're really happy with, and I've loved my Arc Invoker rod for my frogging stick.
Love the rods so far.
If anything, we want to try more of them. I just had to share the one experience with G5. Be real with you guys. So, all right. Lipless setup, like we said, same as the jerkbait setup for me. Paul, any differences that you would add?
Yeah, I like a longer rod. So that's like the 7.6 if you can get away with it, but like 7.4. And it's gonna be not as soft as a cranking rod. Like I like honestly, medium heavy fast, medium heavy mod is perfect. Like if you get the 7.6 medium heavy, like something, I like the moderate only because it is a treble bait. But yeah, dude, that
you're gonna be upset.
And the thing is I like to cast some 6,000 miles. Like, let's take advantage of probably the farthest casting. I know. Can you believe it? I know, it's insane over the mountains. But I I do think that like you're talking about one of the longest casting baits out there. Like take full advantage, get after it.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely using braid. I use a leader, but I'm definitely 100% using braid. I know that people use other stuff. When you're going that far and you get into that kind of grass, I really like having the braid.
Yeah, 100%. I love it. I run a Akuma Guide Select. It's a 7.6 medium, heavy, moderate, and that is my preference for big cranks and then for lipless. Sam X says I just picked up another glass rod, medium heavy from St. Croix. That sounds sick, man. I'll be honest, never tried a glass rod. I think Paul's had one glass.
Yep,
one glass rod,
and I've had
the
two.
No, that was the
fly
parabolic
rods that are glass.
Yeah. So Paul's had fancy fly rods. I have like 5 or 6 fly rods. I can't say any of them are fancy. I have a St. Croix. That's probably my fanciest one. And I have some decent fly reels, but I never got into the glass. So no,
that's not worth it.
Not a fan of glass in general, you know, like it's my least favorite. Oh, glass. Ew. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've just never tried it. I would love to try one, and then I can actually, give some feedback on it. All right, so lipless jerk baits. Let's go to tailspins next.
This is the big one.
Mm-hmm. If you guys haven't fished a tailspin, we're talking about a little, sometimes little, sometimes larger metal body bait. Usually, 6th Sense has the gyro, which is not a metal body bait, and then it has a HD swivel on its tail, and it'll have a Colorado or a willow blade attached to that, and then it'll have usually one treble hook down below. We are trying out, we have the Jackal Deracoop that we're going to be testing out this year. I've loved the Mollix ones. The Fish Lab tailspin was nice for like running super fast. They're big boys. This one is much smaller. So that's the Jackal Deracoop. So it's smaller, a little bit lighter.
Still 3/8 of an ounce.
Mm-hmm. You can burn it if you want. You can let it drop, pick it up, and you can just run it at a nice slow pace. I generally like to throw that on a 7.3 or ideally like an 8-speed reel. So you get that higher gear ratio.
Yeah, I have it on an 8.1 right here. So the old CT. And I have this on a medium heavy moderate 7.4 medium heavy mod fast 3/8 to 1 ounce. And this is actually the exact setup that I would put the lipless on as well. Same setup right here.
Yeah.
This is the TFO Taction. This thing is a freaking banger. I love this setup so much.
They're the Taction rods. I use one for my 7.6 medium light spinning setup, which will come up later. They're money, dude. They're so good. I love them. James Ruiz calls out the Savage Gear tailspin. I have that too. Have had good luck on it. I also like the Savage Gear tailspin for $5, I think it is. $4.99, $5.99, something like that. It's one of the less expensive tailspins that you can pick up. So I think it's a good option for sure. Tailspin similar to underspin, similar and not similar. Definitely different kind of
the thing about the tailspin, I'm almost always like targeting open areas, grass areas.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gonna be, you're going for a reaction bite more than anything else. Like,
and you'll get it over grass a lot.
You'll get it, but you're looking for that reaction bite for sure.
So it's good for covering water. It's good for fan casting and searching. As a search bait, I use it a lot.
Like a lipless.
Yep. So you hit the water, and that's why, to Paul's point, I don't throw a lipless that much. I have a lot of fun on tailspins. I'm very confident in tailspins. But I'm going to make myself throw a lipless this year so people stop yelling at me and telling me that I'm not good at fishing. It might be true, but it's still hurtful.
But don't say it.
But don't say it. Don't say that part out loud. Say it in your head. So tailspin, I will always have it tied on this time of year all the way through like May generally. And I'll be using that as a search bait when we start the day often. Very effective. What about converting a blade bait to a tailspin? I mean,
a blade bait.
You certainly could. The bodies are different.
It's the difference between like the body doing the action and the tail doing the action. So you could add a tail, but like you're gonna lose your, I don't know.
You can do what you want, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would.
They already have the flash built in. Blade baits are flashy on their own, so I don't know if you need to, but you can.
Well, let's skip ahead to a blade bait then, since it just came up. Thanks, James. skipping steps, man. So the blade bait is another great option. Take your lipless, make it all metal, and that's your blade bait. They typically have a tapered body so that they vibrate a lot. I mean, your lipless baits are going to vibrate. These things are like way more than that. Also very sensitive, being a full metal body. Typically you can get a lot of weight in a more compact package, and then you can just drop that sucker down. You can rip it out of grass. I like to, at this time of year, when you get that low vegetation, you just let it plop
all the way down,
hit the bottom, and then just pop it up. But let it pause there for a second. Let it fall, let it hit, pause for a second, rip it up.
Vertical, and really you're targeting something. There's like, to me, you can fish it however you want, but the way I use it is more about like I'm targeting a specific area.
Yep.
Like I'm targeting a spot, I'm dropping it right on it. I might yo-yo it, I might run it over if it's not biting. I might just throw it right at it and let it fall, like it onto the spot. Like I'm thinking jerk bait, but on the bottom.
Yep. And I mean, we've had days, you guys, where the blade bait was the move. It was the only move. Paul, you remember that lake that kicked our butt twice? That we forgot we had been there before, but we end up there like early spring a lot, or like when there's still snow on the ground.
Yep.
And I had like the only fish we caught that day. It was a smallmouth. It was a decent sized smallmouth on the blade bait. But there's been other days like that. And yeah, just treat it like Paul and I were saying, drop it to the bottom, rip that sucker up, let it fall again, rinse, repeat forever.
Same exact setup as a lipless or a tailspin. Medium heavy mod. I like the 6-footer because you can really cast it. And then, you want that moderate action, and I'm going blade of fluoro for sure.
Yeah, it's like in the summer, our rotation of combos switches out a little bit. So like this time of year, we're going to have a lot of medium mods in the boat, like 2 to 3 probably, because we don't want to retie everything. That's all. You can get away with one, obviously, and just cut it off, tie something else on. And then come summer, the medium heavies and the heavies take over, right? And we will have one big combo in the boat. We'll get to that later. It's probably the last thing we'll talk about tonight. The big baits. Okay. And then we did have underspin on here too. So we skipped a step. We're coming back. Now we got underspins. That one right there, say what you want. I just say whatever you want, you guys.
You're wrong.
The days that we have had on this underspin have been bazonkers.
This being the Great Lakes Finesse sneaky.
Oh, underspin. Paul, I can't say anything about this. I'm wearing the hoodie. That underspin sucks. I would never buy it. It's terrible. I'm just a fanboy. No,
I'm a hyper fanboy because what am I putting on the tail? I'm putting the drop minnow on there all day. 3.25 inch. This will be right after that tailspin.
Yeah,
this is going on. But I will say I like these on a spinning setup just because the weights are so much lower. I want this on a minnow shaker, so like a 7.4, 7.8, 7.6, medium light because they are 3/16 ounce spinning setup. I'm going, if I'm not going straight floor, which I really hate to do, I'm going like 6-8 pound tops braid to like a 4 to 6 pound leader.
Yeah. It's a super fun setup. I literally will just cut drop shots off to tie on that underspin on the same setup. And I'll do the same. I'll have to retie a much longer leader, but I'll throw a spy bait on that same setup as well. But having a couple of those medium lights, you can basically, if we take 6 rods this time of year, you're going to see 2 to 3 baitcaster medium mod setups, maybe a medium heavy mod mixed in there. You're going to see 2 spinning setups that are going to be a medium longer rod, medium light, with a 2000 size reel, and then you're going to see a big bait stick. So you're going to see the swim bait rod or the A rig as well, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So that brings us to crankbaits, because now we've been talking about all these other types of body baits, but we get to specifically crankbaits, and really we want to talk about flat side crankbaits. So I don't know if you guys have thrown flat sides before. I hadn't for a very long time. Probably about 3 or 4 years ago was like the first time I got flat side cranks in stock and actually started using them. They are definitely different. They perform very differently. They excel in those cold water conditions. And if you can get that circuit board lip, which a lot of them are coming out with them now, that is something I would also definitely recommend having in the arsenal. And then, go with your favorite spring colors with those. This is a good time to throw that red craw patterns. We like the spring craw, and then I love any sort of like bait fish pattern you're going to do really well with as well. I think Paul is grabbing some to show. Which ones are you grabbing?
I'm gonna grab the Ott.
Oh yeah, Ott's Garage.
Yeah, I got a couple different ones here for you.
Yep. So the Rapala Ott Defoe series, fantastic. That's a chick magnet from Strike King.
This is the chick magnet. Same concept.
Yep. Same idea.
Circuit board. That's what Jeff's talking about. See how it's like a different kind of plastic. That's like a softer, opaque plastic. It's not as rigid. These things absolutely slap.
Yep.
And then dude, I don't care what anybody says. This thing is still actually pretty solid.
Oh, is that the War Pig?
It is. No, this is the 13 Fishing.
13 Fishing War Pig, right?
Is it War Pig? Is that what
I think it's a War Pig? Chat?
I don't think so, but
tell me I'm right, chat.
This thing is sick though. It really is a nice bait. That one came with Monster Bass. I ended up with like 3 of them. And then this one is the Evergreen.
Yeah, that thing is insane.
But it's got a really skinny lip. Like this, the action's super tight on this one. It's a really nice bait.
It's only $20.
It's like it's like $19. But
I think it's $18.99 that one. But the Warthog,
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you knew. Whatever. Well, jerk. All right, 413 Kayak Fishing. Oh no, I clicked the wrong name. There we go. 413 Kayak Fishing for the win. It's the Warthog. Thank you, sir. You know what? I see a lot of baits, man. All these names, they get mixed around in my brain sometimes. You guys should see Paul and us try to like talk about them on video. We're recording. We're like, is that what it's called? I don't know, man. All these companies, they got too many friggin' names.
Well, there's like 15 new ones every year.
Also that. Somebody called out the Berkeley Frit side.
Yes.
That's another great one. And again, now we're talking like way more affordable models between that, 13 Fishing, the Strike King. If you guys want to get one on a budget just to try out, like the Chick Magnet's a pretty good option.
Chick Magnet is the option. It's probably the highest value.
I think it's
and really I put in there I did say deep diver. I like the 10 to 20 foot deep divers in the winter, and like the Berkeley what were those little ones that they came out with that we got a few years ago that Alex Rudd loves?
Money Badger. Dude,
those things are
I know names.
Yeah, just better on the name side. Those things are sick. They are really good baits, man. Like I showed you guys the Norman crankbaits. Those are bangers, dude. They have the 15 plus, and it's awesome.
Yeah, Bandits, Bombers,
300s, Bandit 300s. Yeah, we just got a bunch of them. They're really cool.
Yeah. I love it. So, and then crankbait setup, we've talked about it a bunch. Like again, you're gonna see the same kind of setup a bunch of times in the boat. There's a 300 in that bone color. Is that the chartreuse belly?
No, it's it is. Yep.
Yeah.
Violet chartreuse.
Yeah, they
should have called it violent chartreuse and really
violently not chartreuse. Yeah, they have that same color. They have a chartreuse belly, a cream belly, which is just all bone color, and then they have an orange belly as well, which is pretty neat. This is the one Paul's most excited about. Is that called like Northern Lights or like Twilight? Or
Northern Lights, yep.
Yeah, see, I know things.
The one I'm most excited about is the oil green.
Oh yeah,
this is the one. This one is gonna honestly, you could catch any fish in the north with this one any day.
Guaranteed. Love that. Apparently Debo's in the chat. What's up, Debo? What's up, nerd? How you doing, man? Good to have you. So I guess we're flying through this, man.
We are. This is good.
To talk about some
crankbait. I think the setup is really important. So I personally, again, I like a longer rod. It's got to be over 7 feet. I do like a cranking setup versus a spinning, no question. Some people are like, I want it slow, like 5-4 ratio. Dude, I just 7-3 or
6-3 a lot.
7, yeah, whatever. I like a 7. I've never had a problem with 7 speed as long as it's not like an 8. And
slow down.
I also like the Akuma cranking rod that we've had that is the best.
Guide Select.
The Guide Select. It is the best cranking rod. It's so sick.
Pretty good value too. I think it's like $160 normally on sale.
8-footer, and it freaking slaps. I would definitely recommend that one. But any softer, moderate action, you'll be fine. You could use the same jerkbait rod, run cranks on it all day, no problem.
Yeah, awesome.
And then I'm the search bait. Search. And then the one thing I will say is if you have like Fort Live sonar or you find a bunch of fish on sonar, that is what the number one thing that I would grab next to maybe the sneaky underspin would be crankbait. You're going to catch fish.
Run it through them. You're going to catch them.
Right in the middle. Hammer.
Yep. All right. Finesse jigs. Time to get jiggy. A little jigging work going on, I think. So we're talking about finesse jigs, you guys. You've seen them. Usually they're a ball head jig. There you go.
Naked.
Could be that's a football one, but you could use like a ball head, football head. Typically they'll have a skirt on them. So Great Lakes also dropped a ball head with a skirt end of last year.
I have it right here. Hang on.
Yeah. And these are not the only finesse ones we'll talk about. It's not just Great Lakes, but yeah, those are solid. I like it because it's real compact, and you can throw the drop minnow on there as a great combo, or that snack craw that Paul just showed you. But normally finesse jigs, we're talking about like a ball head jig. It's usually got a slightly lighter wire hook. It's got a spider skirt often, so you're going to see that skirt that kind of sticks out the top, like a Dracula's collar or something around it. And then you're going to throw more of your finessey plastic presentations, maybe downsize your craw a little bit, maybe clip the claws off of it. There you go. Ball head jig, spider skirt, lighter brush guard on there. Sometimes shorter shank hook, not always.
This one, yes. This is the Bass Dope one, I think.
I love those Bass Dope ones. Those are great options.
These things are so nice, dude. These little Bass Dope ones are amazing.
Got a bunch from Outcast, Bass Dope. I've used a bunch of 6 Sense hybrids.
This would be the other style.
Ooh, throwing that one at me, dude. The Kitech.
That's your Outcast, I'm pretty sure.
That's Kitech, dude. That's the special Kitech.
Yeah, you're right.
It's the one with a super long name that I can never remember. It's got numbers in it and stuff.
It's so sick. What a great, yeah.
I've caught a bajillion fish on that peanut butter and jelly color of that jig. So
then you can also go, I mean, this is probably my most heavily used jig that I own. This is the Beast Coast OW Sniper. Like
OW Sniper.
You can't beat that jig. And then you can get the Dozer if you need like a larger profile, but you can't beat the OW Sniper.
Yeah. So throwing any of those this time of year, you're going to have a real good time. And setup, obviously at that point, you're going with the a little more backbone. You got a jig. You got to set the hook. So at this time of year, you get away with a medium heavy. I usually throw it on a 7.3 medium heavy, fast action, because we're talking bottom contact and jigging. You want that fast action tip or extra fast, whichever your preference is. I like a fast action. So I think I have a couple cash-ins to try out. I have a medium heavy Fish NFX that I like a lot. And then the Psycho Stick, the Akuma Psycho Stick that will never leave my lineup. One of my favorite rods of all time.
I got 2 or 3 of them in the lineup. I can't get rid of them.
Freaking good. They're very expensive, but they're so freaking good. I mean,
they don't weigh anything.
They're one of our few nice things.
They're such a Lamborghini. Like,
I know. Every time I pick one up, I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life, you poser? So no, those are great rods, but there's plenty of other good ones out there. I say just grab your favorite 7.3 medium heavy with the fast action. You're gonna have a good time.
I personally like the finesse a lot. If I'm going that finessey, I'm grabbing a spinning setup. I hate to say it, but
do it. I'm not. A lot of those finesse jigs that we have generally have like a more stout hook, but you get those compact ones, you can get that fine wire hook. I feel more comfortable maybe throwing on a medium heavy.
Great Lakes finesse, I'm going medium light.
Oh, the Great Lakes finesse is different though. Yeah, 100%. Those Great Lakes finesse ones have a super fine wire hook. I would use the same setup that we talked about with the underspin earlier, and that we would talk about with the drop shot. I'm throwing my.
But I might go to medium.
Yeah. Maybe. If you go up and wait a little bit, throw it on a medium spinning setup. Yeah, I'm casting. It's a jig, man. I want to use Baitcaster for that setup all day long. Any chance I get in the spring, in the late winter, early spring to throw on a Baitcaster, I'm going to. Absolutely. Talk line. I mean, jig line. So, I mean, a little higher pound test. Don't have to go crazy with a finesse jig. Again, usually not a super stout hook to it. But yeah, jig setup. I usually have like 25, 30 pound braid.
10 to 15.
Going half that weight with fluorocarbon. Yeah. If you're throwing the medium light setup, you can get away with that lighter line too, because it's the same setup you'd be using with the underspin and all that. But Finesse jigging. When and where, Paul? Where are we going with our jigs? I'm going literally everywhere, flipping a jig. But typically, I'm trying to see if
anytime
they're
you got
shallow.
It's just you grab the right jig, right? I mean,
structure.
Yeah, you just grab the right jig for the job. So if you've got grass, use it around grass. If you got rocks, go to the football. You know, do what you got to do. But there's no bad time really to throw a jig.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, literally everywhere. If you're when in doubt, throw a jig out there, flip around, and find out, and you'll have a good time. That's what I know. What the hell is Jeff and Debo is Jibo. Jibo's fishing. Debo and I just like swap out for videos every now and then. Jibo. Welcome back to Jibo's Fishing. Hey, fishing friends.
We've talked about it.
We have talked about it. That would be a lot of fun. Or deaf. All right. Jibo or deaf? I think the award goes to Jibo. Hands up, deaf. Welcome back to deaf fishing.
Jibo rolls off the tongue.
Jibo rolls off the tongue. Way better. All right. Anything else on finesse jigs? Or we go to the next?
No, just do it.
You guys are wild. Sure. Devo says it would help the consistency. All right. We're making Jibo videos now. Get ready. Then Devo could be like, make sure you subscribe to my second channel, Jibo's Fishing. And it's really just our channel.
Oh gosh.
we can pull this off, you guys. We can do this.
Without a doubt.
Let's talk minnows. Minnows. What do you got for me? Mr. Show and Tell,
me,
Mr.
It's
Vanna
like,
White.
Sure. For me, like if you don't have an opportunity to throw like a downsized paddle tail or a downsized like some kind of hovering minnow style bait, like I feel like you're missing out. You're missing some of the biggest fish, in my opinion. So yeah, I want to see a straight tail on like a ball head, on a medium light, but really even BFS light, ultralight. Probably a light setup is what I've got mine strung up on. And
depends on the minnow and the jig that you're throwing,
or some kind of swim bait head and a paddle tail. Like especially if they're even anywhere near like 10 feet, like you should be able to catch one. Like you should be able to catch fish.
Another great search bait. I think you want to be a little more accurate when you go to the minnows, especially if you're doing we had a few days last year where we were hucking minnows out on no weight, just on like a little drop shot hook and just letting it float. And I use that a ton.
325, baby.
Yep. You had a lot of luck on the Fisher Die, right? That was that day.
I did.
The Fisher Die.
Yes, I did. Yep.
Oh,
the dagger.
The dagger. That thing was money that day, but just letting it sit forever. But yeah, if you throw it on a jig head, you're just kind of like twitching it. You can swim it, you can twitch it, you can put it around cover. Really effective way to catch. And with the paddle tail, really effective search bait. But I mean, you can throw a fluke on a jig head and do the same thing if you want to upsize and try and go for the big ones.
Fishing with Mickey or is it Nickel says 1/8 to 3/8 ounce ball head. I'm going like 1/8 would be like the midpoint.
Yeah.
I 3/16 it's fine. Like yeah, 1/16 depending on the minnow. Like it really depends on where the fish are, you know what I mean? Like and what you're using, because you could use like they have a short chatter spikes now. Well, maybe I'm not supposed to say that, but they're releasing short chatter spikes here pretty soon. And like that would be if you got on a 1/8 with one of those, dude, that thing is gonna rip them up.
Yeah, you can definitely have a good time with that. I tend to err on the light side, especially earlier in the year. So I'd be going 1/8 all day. I think most of the jig heads I would use are around that. So yeah, I mean, minnows, again, really effective. If you know how to use your sonar, you can really pinpoint the spot and draw in some bites on that. And if not,
it's the drop shot plus, just because you can be more do a lot more movement, more movement than you would think. And then in that mid range, like high in the water, you can actually just target a fish like within 2 or 3 feet of a fish. Easy.
Yeah. All right. So Fishing with Mickle says trying to do more rivers. We got currents in the situation. So err on the side of a little more weight then, but
I'd go to a jig, frankly.
2 to 10 feet deep.
I think I'm grabbing a jerk bait and a jig and a crankbait, and that's probably what I would do.
You don't need too much for the river to be effective. I'm even just throwing a Ned at that point, but
Ned,
can't go wrong with a football jig.
No,
can't go wrong. Any sort of cross style presentation, like you're gonna do great. And then jerk baits,
even drifting,
really effective.
like a lot of times I stopped doing bottom contact with my Neds a long time ago. Actually, I go to like
losing them.
I go to 1.6,
yeah,
and then 1.8 or lower, and I just start. I mean, at that point, I'm drifting it.
Drift. Yeah, just give it a little movement, little twitch here and there. Let it drift. Then Pigpen brings back the drop Ned.
Illegal in the river.
You know what's hilarious? Yeah, first of all, illegal in the river. You can't drop shot, so you can't drop Ned in the river. At least where we are. Check your own regulations. Make sure you're okay and you're not doing anything naughty. But you know what's funny? That drop, like the video, we did a short, a YouTube short on the drop dead Ned. I think still gets comments like every single day. That video is still alive. It's been 3 years. The video is 3 years old.
How many views does it have?
I don't know. A lot. That one might be pushing 500,000. I don't know. It has a lot of views. I think it's because a lot of people are like, that's dumb. Twice the number of baits to snag. And then half of the people were like, that's awesome. Can't wait to try it. And then the other plus 50%, 150% of people respond to this. The other half of the people were like, dude, I can't do that where I live, whatever. So yeah, it's interesting that thing is still.
So 413 kayak fishing says any good non-BFS reels to use to throw 1/16 to 1/8 ounce jigs. Well, why?
I'll say the Okuma Hakai could do it, but I wouldn't recommend it.
No, I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, you could.
I think reel.
The one that I would do, it is a BFS reel, sort of, but I think the I'm trying to. So you're not the Kestrel. What's the Dark Knight reel?
The Cormorant.
The Cormorant would be a really good option. It's a full size. It's a small reel, but I mean it can handle that business all day. But that's probably its sweet spot. Same with the Kestrel Elite. That can do it. And then really the MG12 Elite maybe would probably be better than even the Tatula 70 because it's got a better mag system for this kind of thing. So I would go with one of those. The 70s, Shimano has an SLX 70, Tatula has a 70, like maybe. But honestly, 16th, I don't think so, man. The spools are just not designed for it. So I would say no. None of those.
To Feather's point, so Flight Feather has two. They have the Kingfisher, the Cormorant. Yeah. The Cormorant is the heavier duty gears. So it
still has a super light, larger you can spool. You can definitely do that. But it's built to handle higher weight line. Because really the only reason BFS like bait finesse reels are needed is because the line and the weights are so small. Like that's the thing getting in your way. So really I kind of wonder like why do you need to not use a BFS setup?
Yeah. And then there's a new Kestrel. This is like the $90 one. Should be like better than the Zephyr, but I don't know compared to the Elite. I know the Elite is
I love the Elite. It's just the problem
it
was overbraked. Like if you really wanted to throw light, it's not for you. If you're power finesse, it's money. It's great. But it was overbraked. That's the only. I want to just pop a magnet out and see if that worked.
True. 4 and 3, pull the trigger.
Yes. Sick reel.
The BF70.
And if you want to, what's the price on those? 130, 150?
The BF70? No, I think it's like $300. 250,
don't do that.
$300.
I think you can get a lot more reel for a lot less money. If I'm being honest,
it's
the Gravity
insane.
BFS is going to be. You're going to be way happier.
It's 240. It's 240.
Dude, that's a lot.
$100 more than the ARC BFS.
Super premium.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if you want that premium, if you want that pinky out, do the thing is what I say. You do what you want.
Yeah.
You buy what you want. So that one's 240, and then James Ruiz to talk about. There's another one that's 350, and that one is
that the custom?
I don't know. The what is the other bait finesse numerically? Not the Alphas Air. What is it freaking called? BFTW 70. Yeah, the PXBFTW 70 is what it is.
Hey
That
man,
one is
go
350.
nuts. Buy whatever makes you happy. But
you know what? That's that. At the end of the day, that's what matters. Your happiness. Oh man. All right. So I think that. Oh, where were we? We're on minnows.
Minnow.
Oh, we still got two more big bait techniques to talk about. So next one would be spinner bait.
This is for later in the season.
Yeah,
a little bit later, but still
Warm
early
up a
season.
bit.
It's still an option. This I'm gonna go like 1/4 ounce. I'm not going above a 1/2 ounce. There's no reason to.
Yeah.
It's just if they're following like swim jig profiles, like bigger profiles, this could get it done. I would put a bladed jig in here, but like that's really for not ice out. That's for like true spring. So a bladed jig should definitely be here if a spinnerbait's here. So it'd be either one. I'm using the same rod. I'm using a medium heavy. Honestly, medium heavy fast gets it done for me a lot of times. I don't really have a problem with either one of those. And then 7 foot, 7.1, something like that is just fine. I like it on bait casting. You can use it on whatever you want, but I just like the ability to speed it up if I need to. And then if you get a huge fish, it's kind of nice to have a little more power. You can go straight braid, but it really just depends on your water. If you have clear water, use a leader. If it's nasty, just thick. If it's a blown out river, just go straight braid. It won't matter. And when and where? Literally anywhere.
Everywhere.
There's not a single place. If it can work its way through, use it.
Yep. A good place to start, though, especially if you're bank fishing, is parallel the bank. Or if you're in a kayak, do the same thing. Parallel the structure, parallel the bank. On the river, often we would like parallel the bank, and if that wasn't working, we'd literally just pitch it into like spinner baits into the trees and then just run it back to you, because they do a pretty good job at deflecting cover. So you can get away with a lot in the river. And yeah, they will trigger some strikes. If you guys don't fish a spinnerbait often, you should. They're amazing. Brandon H calls out Pig Jigs, makes a great 1/4 ounce spinnerbait. We've got a couple of those. Pig Jigs makes a lot of great stuff. Definitely always worth a look. I know he sells out a lot, but it's a one-man shop, you guys. So support small business when you can, and definitely check those out. This reminds me, Dig says, this reminds me I need more smaller spinner baits.
What we just got the Booyah, the Pond.
Booyah Covert.
Yeah,
Booyah Covert.
Wait, no, wasn't it the Pond Hopper?
Pond Magic. There's a Pond Magic, and then there's the Covert, which also comes in a 1/4 ounce. I like the Covert a lot.
Yeah, if you can find them. They're just a little more expensive because they come with, I mean, they're worth it. But the Pond Magic, it's got like the rubber band skirt, like it's the cheapest one you can get. But it's easy to find the smaller ones. They have great colors, and if you're just looking to try them, that'd be the cheap one.
Yo, Calvin, you're not wrong. Bronco Blade is too slept on. Why is it slept on? We don't know, because it absolutely smacks them. The day we were out with one of the days we were out with Debo and Ethan on that Michigan lake, the Bronco Blade was demolishing them. Like that we put a donkey tail on the back. It caught everything in the lake, and then like stuff in other lakes came over to this lake so that we could catch it. That's how good it was at catching.
Use the workhorse jig.
Yep.
From Mule. Pair it with this.
Clears cover really well versus this like it moves better.
Absolutely get her done. And then you got to do a little geometry to get it facing the correct direction.
You just got to get practice at it. That's
here, because this is what happens if you don't. You get a Z.
You go backwards.
No one's happy about that.
Bet. Throw it. Bet you won't.
Bet. I won't. You're right. I won't.
Oh, man. Shoot. Yeah, 100%. Calvin's with me, dude. Bronco Blade, it just creates fish sometimes. That should be Ethan's commercial. He's like, oh, there's no fish in this puddle. And then he throws a Bronco Blade into the puddle.
It just makes fish.
A 10-pounder just like flops in.
Well, yes.
Well, why not? Why not? Ethan, give us a call, buddy. We got your marketing. Don't worry.
All you need is a 10-pounder.
AAA marketing. All you need is you bring me a puddle and a 10-pounder. I will give you $1 million commercial. Easy peasy.
But I mean, it'll cost him $1 million?
No, he pays us $1 million. We make a terrible commercial and it doesn't sell anything.
That doesn't check out at all.
It checks out for me, buddy. Halfbreed 206 says Hildebrandt spinnerbait wires. So looking for a more I think that's just like, that's what the Covert has. I believe it's the lighter wire, very finessey, high
The
vibration.
Hildebrand blades.
The Hildebrand blades are phenomenal. But those are the ones on the Covert. He said wires. I'm not aware of the wires, but I'm assuming he just means the more finessey wire on there. Both great.
No idea.
I don't know. I've never looked at the brand of wire on the spinnerbait, so perhaps he does mean blades. In which case, yes, great. I like them. So spinnerbait setup. We already talked setup, right? Line. Did we talk line?
Got it. Yep.
When, where, everything done. Look at us go. That brings us to big old baits and chandeliers. So A-rigs, swim baits, glide baits. This is a year, you guys. We are committed. Paul, how committed are we to swimming big baits?
Not at all. Big time.
big time. Big time.
Yeah, you're big.
Yeah.
Boys. Well, bigger. This is big for us.
I'm not throwing that one right now, but I'm throwing a HUD and there we go. A little chicken rig.
Yeah, a little chicken rig. We got to get the chicken nugget.
Yeah.
Your chicken rig.
Chicken nugget I want to have real soon. That's not the chicken nugget. That's a different one.
I know.
What is that from? But a hair jig.
Yeah, big hair jig.
Then
you're going to get your A-rigs.
Dude, this A-rig is so... I didn't even notice how big the blades were on this until I was at Paul's house the other day. That thing is insane.
But then you also get your small downsize glides.
Mm-hmm.
Or big size, right? It just depends on what they're going after. You also get
BFS glides.
You get your big swimmers, your wedge tails.
That I want to try this spring. Slow rolling a wedge tail is something we'll probably be doing. Anything slow, I'm gonna throw versus like the speed swim baits. Oh, that one's so cute. It's the cutest little guy.
Well, cutest little boy. So I think your BFS glides are also going to be a really good option too.
I think a kid made a bunch of baits for us and sent that in.
He did.
His name is from
Andrew?
Andrew, thank you. Yeah, Andrew sent up. I used Andrew's hand carved popper and I caught a zillion fish on it last summer. It was phenomenal. Yeah, there's a crank that he made.
Yep, and the big one, I was just looking at it. Caught on that one too.
Yeah. Good stuff. Love it. We might be, swapping some baits with Brennan Brown. Maybe get some Brown Bait Co. stuff up in this house. He's got all the fancy glides. We did pick up a bunch of glides, soft swim baits, wedge tails. Got some of those from the Hookup Tackle. And then we picked up a few. And we got some from Digitaka to test out. So lots of Japanese ones. Yeah, there we go. And I know somebody in the comments said that we're pro Japan now. We're all Japanese boys here.
I'm pro fun fishing.
I know. You guys are weird.
I'm pro. They're better at this than we are.
I'm pro trying new things, man. We just happen to.
I'm pro having fun. Don't tell me how to spend my money. So when it comes to big swims, maybe glides, A-rigs, everything's gonna be a little different. But I think the sweet spot, the way, just whatever size bait you want to throw, you're gonna have to get a rod for it. So you want your weight to be in the middle of that range. So if you throw in 2 ounce, 1 ounce baits, you're gonna want a 1/2 ounce to 4 ounce rod. When you are setting up an A-rig rod, you're going to want an 8-footer for both of these, frankly, but you're going to want an 8-footer and you're going to want something softer for that A-rig because you're going to have a whole bunch of bait on there and you're going to have a whole bunch of single hook baits. Like you're going to need something with backbone, but that's got some flex to it. Actually, I'll grab my A-rig rod because I'm hyped on this. This is like one of the most.
It's like cashing, right?
Cashing.
Yeah. So we did. We were hankering for new swim bait setups. I've used the Akuma SBX, which was overkill on the glide. It was too heavy. I think that one goes up to 6 or 8 ounces. And then I had the Akuma Guide Select, which was more appropriately rated, but still I believe goes up to like 6 ounces. And then we picked up this one. So this is the Icon Swim Bait. It's their big bait setup rod. I think it's 6. I think it's a set. Is it 8?
So this is a 7'8" moderate fast, medium heavy, takes 12 to 50 pound line. But this is the big thing. The weight range on this is 1/2 ounce to 3 ounces. That
perfect
is
weight range for
the
us.
absolute money range for what we're trying to do. I actually have a BFS glide on here ish, smaller glide or a smaller A rig on here. The thing I will tell you about A rigs is you forget that you've got the A rig itself, and that because it's like 4 blades, 3 blades, whatever, it's slowing you down a lot. So you got some muscle to not only launch it, but also reel it back in with some speed. Then you forget about, I'm going to add 1/16 ounce, 3/16 ounce jig heads, but I'm going to have 4 of them. Then
the old chandelier.
You forget about another 1/2 ounce of plastics.
Yeah.
Because you got to have 3 or 4, 5 paddle tails. All of a sudden, you're at 2 to 6 ounces, like boom, like that, like before you know it. So,
and then you go to cast it and you're like, why is this so difficult?
Well, and that's why. So for me, you're going anywhere from like 30 to 50 pound braid. I am going to be using a mono leader or a fluoro leader. I'm going to have on right now, I have the Curado, the 200M. This is the 201. This is the 201XG. That is the M. This thing is sick. And you can go 300 size. I like the 200 size. I've never had a problem. I like the 200 size in general. 300 is overkill, in my opinion, in most instances. And then, you're going to want that. You want that longer setup, and then just get the weight range right. And if you're using a swim bait or, something with a little bit of softness to it, but a lot of backbone, you got the right kind of rod as well.
Yep. And this year I'll be running the same swim bait rod because I want to test it out. And I think Blind Eye called it out. Yeah, like we do the same thing. We double the A rigs and the swim baits. We throw them on the same setup, dude. We don't have like an A rig specific rod because we don't use them enough. But we can get away with them on both. But I'll be running that same Cash and Icon swim bait rod, and I am pairing mine up with the new Tatula SVTW, the 150 size.
Fire. Which perfect size.
It's a money setup. I'm really excited about it. The SVTW from last year that dropped has been awesome for me in the regular size. I have the 100, and now I have the 150 to test out. I'll also have 50-pound braid on that. And I think I've seen it in our comments a lot of folks will say, hey, just go straight braid. Like, you're throwing a chandelier. You're throwing a
yes, big old but no. I don't want to snap one off.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to snap off the plastics on a cast. Like, it's why would you not?
I'm not worried about that so much. I haven't had that. I've had it happen to me on fluorocarbon more than I have.
You're throwing a wind catching large bait that's very expensive. As far as you can, you're launching it.
Yeah.
You get one backlash.
Yeah.
That's
get
that
good.
Pick
get good.
Gone.
Get good. Get better.
Yeah, or just tie a knot and not have to worry about it. So,
you should tie it.
A leader gives you just one very nice layer of protection that is not hard. I'm doing it every time.
I love devil's advocate against Paul on this because I run a leader on mine.
Yeah. Like,
I'm just calling out what was said in the comments. But as you guys can see, we found another hill upon which Paul would like to dig a hole, place his gravestone, and die upon it.
I'm not. Everyone can do what they want. I just why risk it?
Yeah, or just don't tell you what to do. So it's fine. There we go. Peter says, I'm with Paul. Nice stretchy mono leader. I love a mono leader on this setup. I don't throw fluorocarbon typically on these. And mono is just great all around, and it frays a little bit less. Yeah,
true.
Sirius says 20 to 25 pound, not cheap fluorocarbon for me. Yeah, emphasis on the not cheap. That like cheap fluorocarbon, which in general isn't very cheap, but like cheap fluorocarbon, it just frays so quickly. And that's where, to Paul's point, if you're slinging a wind resistant $60 to $300 bait setup, like, you're gonna be pissed. You're gonna be real pissed. Yeah, the Tatakai, if this is still available, Soft Steel like went out of business, so like scoop them up if you can. Otherwise, pick your fluorocarbon of choice. A lot of people like Seagar. Maybe what are some of the other ones that we've liked out there, Paul? We're like so stocked up on Soft Steel. You guys were like out of the line game.
Yeah.
Which is why we don't post many videos online, because we just have all the line we could ever.
And I like it. Like, Soft Steel is great. Never had a problem with it. Such a bummer.
Bro, mainstream, yes. The big game mono. You remember just big game from Gander Mountain? I still have spools of big game mono, and fluoro that I got at Gander Mountain back in the day. Can't go too wrong.
Isn't Big Game Berkeley?
It is Berkeley. You're right, but I also have Gander Mountain fluoro, so I stand by what I said, even though I was wrong. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about a few like the baits from these categories that we're really excited to throw. Like just one or two from each category
Sure.
to throw. Because I think that's helpful. We've kind of dished out a few earlier on, but like so jerk baits, Megabass Vision 110 we're throwing. What's your backup? You got the Flashpoint. We're going to be testing out a lot this year. We talked about some of the bait finesse options with the
Provoke.
X80s. The Provoke is another good jerk bait option.
The short KVD.
KVD, the Euro tackle. If you want like a little crank, if you want a little jerk bait, if you want a little lipless. I love those Euro tackle ones. Pretty dang affordable too, I would say. Lipless wise, any specific ones you want to throw this year?
So lipless, I don't have anything crazy. I don't think we even really got anything new this year, but I would tell you that when it comes to lipless, I really like the 2-tap Strike King. That thing's a freaking beast. That's the one for me. I've got 3 of them, and that's all I really need. Now, I do have the LVL. I love that thing too. It's a really ugly one, but like it catches fish, so I don't really care. But it looks terrible, but it catches fish.
I mean, you can't argue with catching fish. You gotta.
I think there's an LVL like right over here, the Lucky Craft. That thing's sick.
They are insane. Also, Lucky Craft Pointer. Sirius called out for jerkbait. Another great option.
Oh yeah, I don't really have a lot. I don't even think I've ever really fished that one.
I have. I've fished a few of them. I
have 2 of them in the box that I'm literally looking at.
Oh yeah, right over from there. The hookup tackle box.
Here's that Euro tackle that Jeff was talking about. If you need a cheap alternative to the Megabass that I showed earlier, dude, these are amazing, and they're significantly cheaper.
And then Rebel also makes some good options there too.
Sure do.
Tailspins we talked about. We got the Daracoup from Jackal. We're going to test that out. I also mentioned a whole bunch of other ones that you guys can check out.
Mollix and Daracoup.
Mollix, Daracoup, Savage Gear if you want a cheap one. There's a lot out there. Blade bait. I got nothing. I got nothing for you guys.
I've got 3 or 4 in here.
I use the Fish Lab one almost exclusively because it's I have 1,000 of them.
Yeah. They work really good too.
Yep. Steel Shad, the original.
I have 2 of those. Half and 3/8.
Good options. What about crankbaits? Any new crankbaits? We have a couple gigantic crankbaits we should probably throw just for fun.
On the crankbait side of things, I don't have anything new. Nothing new for this year, but I will say, like, going back to lipless, there is one.
For anybody who's listening to the audio, Paul probably sounds so good right now. It's because he's on the floor of his office trying to get some show and tell baits.
I can only do it so fast. So the Booyah custom color one knockers, these like super bright ones.
We never use those.
I have 4 of these.
Same.
These are sick. I actually really want to use these to see if they work.
I've not used them, so
I like those. Those are cool.
Yeah.
But no, crankbaits, nothing crazy. I have just a ton that just need to get time. So we'll see.
I think we got some cool ones from a couple unboxings that we've done recently. So I'm not thinking of them like off the top of my head.
The Blitz.
I do have the Blitz in hot rod color. Pretty cool. But yeah, we do have a bunch from those unboxings. We'll just have to like dig through. We're gonna do a video, you guys, on the spring tackle box. So like rest assured, not this weekend because Paul and I can't film this weekend, but whether we film Monday, we got a business day on Monday, or if we do it like next weekend, there will be a spring tackle box video dropping ASAP with just all of these baits kind of all together in 2 different boxes. Usually the way we like to do it is like Paul makes a box, I make a box. We find out we packed half the same baits, and then we see which person was wrong when we go hit the water. It's a blast. We got a quick shout out from Nicholas Hubert, member for 26 months. In the last 4 days, I've caught 25 plus cutthroat trout, all over
Jesus.
2 pounds, and today a 1.5 pound largie, all
What a
on
day.
bait finesse with a little bladed jig. I made this winter that he made himself. This is so awesome.
That's
Colorado
sick.
Spring #1, dude. First of all, congrats. Second of all, what the heck,
Congrats.
bro? Why are you making me feel bad? I want to
Yeah,
go fishing.
that's sick.
No, that's awesome, man. Congrats. I love it. What else we got? Finesse. I don't have any finesse jigs, minnows. We're just gonna do a bunch of the Great Lakes finesse mostly, but I think we do have a bunch from like Dark Horse Hookup Tackle and other
Basto.
unboxings.
Got a bunch, dude.
We have a bunch of minnows to try and jigs to pair with them to try.
The hover minnow is the one I'm excited about.
Oh yeah, yeah. I barely.
We
even
didn't
took
get
a
it at
look
the right
it
time.
last
We got it
year.
in like the height of summer. It wasn't
Yep.
the time. Now
This will be the time,
time.
for it. This is gonna be good. So we'll try out the hover minnow that we really didn't get a chance to put on the water last year. Spinnerbaits. I got a couple of fancy Japanese ones.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, really, spinnerbaits, like I never grab them, but like if it came down to like catch a fish in the spring, it'd be on my list every time.
Yeah, I think so. And then really swims, glides, A-rigs. This is an area of focus for us this spring that we're going to go after a lot. That we've typically have shied away from, but we're not going to be cowards this year. We're going to commit. We're going all in. And we showed you some of them. Was that the Osakana?
Osakana swimmer and slide in 145 and 125. The Gilsoft 130. Yep. I mean, really, the Savage Gear soft shine glide, I'm really excited about too. So there's probably 20 baits that I'm just sitting here looking at.
The soft shine is going to be a lot of fun from Savage Gear. We did pick up 2 of those.
They were the right size too. Like it's about the max that I feel really comfortable fishing. We need to get the 5-inch mag draft really bad. There's about 10 different baits we need to go buy. So the chicken nugget is one. That's another one I'm really excited about. The 5-inch mag draft. I want to try all the Z-Man Shadhead combos. Like there's a bunch of stuff that needs.
So we got an order. You're telling me we got to go do an order right now?
I'm about 2/3 the way through. I had a couple of ideas earlier that I forgot about already, but yes, I got about 6 or 7 things we need to do.
I guess we'll buy some tackle or whatever. Fine. Twist my arm. Make me do it. All right. So that's it for the baits for tonight, you guys. I think we got through a lot of spring techniques, tackles, setups, all the stuff. Hopefully this was helpful. If it was, let us know. Say thumbs up in the like button down below or whatever, or join us as a member next Tuesday, March 11th. Dude, it's gonna be a blast. 8:15 p.m. Eastern.
Yes, and we're gonna next week we have a great guest, and there's some new drops happening on next week's show.
Guess what, you guys? We know about stuff that you don't, and you're gonna find out next week. I'm just kidding. We don't even know.
Oh yeah. Working Class Zero was the other one, actually. Somebody said it. That's on my list.
Good call out. Aren't we supposed to get a clutch? We got to get a clutch. Glide. See, we said the same thing.
But the Working Class Zero is they have the new small version of their swim bait, and I really wanted to get one of those.
Yeah, 100%. And then we need a Buka trick shad. Right?
That was the other one.
Yeah,
I saw it. And I got it.
Yep.
And they have 3 different colors.
Yep. Yeah, it's like $40. Stoked. All right. Yeah, yay. All right. Let's do some slow rolling thunder. Let's leave on a high note here. So slow rolling thunder #1. Man, it's hard to just like jump into that one. Easiest way to piss off a bank angler, you guys. What is the easiest way to piss off a bank angler? I mean, you run your jet ski up and just splash them, man. That's #1.
Yeah,
you wreck their spot. That's what any way you spin it, you wreck that spot.
I think the long talker.
Oh, you're sitting there. It's like the worst are when you got a good that good pond that's also a hiking trail, and then like as you're fishing, people are just like la cruising by. Oh, hey, you fishing down there? How are things going? But then like the conversation continues beyond. You catch
but then they're like, my name's Tina. I have 4 sisters, and they're all named Tina. And like, it's like, dude, I don't.
That's a weird backstory.
I care less.
Came up with.
It's impossible for me.
My name's Tina. I have 4 sisters, and they're all named Tina. I would stop fishing and ask questions of Tina at that point. Tell me
That's
more.
What I'm talking about. I don't want that in my life. Get that out of my life.
I do. I want that in my life. I'll take that over the guy who's always like, yesterday I caught a 17-pounder right next to you. And
yeah, there's always some guy
there.
who right next to where you are, I've caught 13 sharks. Yeah, no,
you wouldn't believe it.
Nicholas Hubert makes a fair point. Dogs off leash, don't love that.
Oh, dogs off leash anywhere. I don't care how trained you think your dog is. Like in our neighborhood right here, there's definitely a problem. Like I have been attacked. My wife has been attacked. My dog has been attacked because somebody's just like, do what you want, dog. That's annoying. And then, yeah, especially if you're out, you're fishing, bank fishing, and a dog just runs up on you. Listen, I love doggos as much as the next guy. But when a doggo comes sprinting at me and I don't know that dog, that's a problem for me. Let me approach you first, man. Let's do the whole process together instead of you just like sprinting at me. Especially when it's like a Doberman, a German Shepherd. Like they could be a good boy, but like that's terrifying.
Good boys bite hard, and
sometimes
I don't.
Good boys bite hard.
You know, and I would say it is very frustrating when someone is in a boat or a kayak and rolls up on your spot. Jeff and I, if we see someone fishing from shore, the person in front will nod and say, "Back up, get out of here, don't scare their fish," and we'll give them a wide berth.
Yep, as you should. And if they're in a boat on the water, we do the same thing. Like, not that a lot of other people do that for us. People just do whatever they want. That's my favorite. Like one time we were out on a lake, huge lake. It was probably the last time Paul fished with me before the whole biceps situation. But you remember that? We were out on that big lake. We made a long run. We went up there. Was like, yeah, we went way in the back. There was like a bar on the canal there.
Yeah.
But we were in the middle of that lake, and it's like late season water skiing. And these two pontoons were water skiing basically in circles around us. And this lake is like 2 miles.
They're just screaming.
Yeah, just ripping around us, dude. Wild. You pull up on two kayakers in the middle of the lake. Get lost. Get bent, loser.
Get bent for sure.
All right, so there's some good ways to piss people off. Did we see any other good ones in chat? Helicopter flew over my lake.
Yeah, there's a lake nearby. We've had a guy who lands his plane on the lake.
Yes, it's like our favorite lake too is the problem. It's such a good lake, and this guy just brings in his plane on the water. It's freaking cool.
Here I am. Once again.
Rock me like a... Oh, we went different ways. All right.
I was waiting for you, and then I was like, here it is.
We're on a delay. I can't... The comedy gold is not working.
I delayed that one on purpose.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I lost. Sorry. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways we get pissed off on the bank. Let's be real. Next one. Oh, I love that Paul was typing 3 of these. We have 2 slow rolling thunders. The third one is just what?
We started the show.
I know you were in the middle of it. So last one for tonight. We're slow rolling our butts out of here, you guys. Worst reaction to losing a video game that you've ever witnessed. Is this has to be in person or like on the internet? Because I know
you have to have seen it live.
Okay. So before we go with our live scenarios, have you guys ever seen the video where the mom takes away the kid's Xbox? He runs into his room, he slams the door, he like screams, he rips his shirt off, he grabs a remote control and he like sticks it into his butt.
That can't be real. Like
it's totally staged, but like that was like the
his
viral
scream though when he did that was violent.
I know, he's like, ah! Just like so frustrated. Okay, so that is the true answer if it's internet based, but if it's real life based, it's probably me. But go ahead and you tell me what your answer is.
So I had
my answer would be myself, but I'll explain later.
You'll digest. So wait, hold on. Eric Robin says, "Oh my God, I know the Xbox kid video." Oh, I thought
I'm not alone.
Kid. I thought he meant he knew the kid.
Oh,
yeah, we all know the video. All right,
nobody knows that kid. He's
sorry,
not really
I digest. So I would say, so. I had a buddy who had some serious anger management issues. Then we lived together in college, and he could not beat me at Super Smash Bros. And which is a bad, like, I don't know what it is about Super Smash Brothers. I could lose like any other game 10 times more often, but if I'm losing at Super Smash Brothers, I'm enraged. I don't know why. So, but it wasn't me.
Everybody is.
I was just classic whooping this guy, and he took it. This was his Xbox controller. He took his Xbox he's one of the strongest people I've ever met, by the way.
Yeah.
Like almost a professional gymnast, incredible wrestler, walks around at like 230. Is just a freak of nature.
Yeah.
Took his Xbox controller and absolutely deleted it into the heating vent, like a metal heater inside. Yeah. But then he takes the Xbox, broke it in half on our mini fridge, which broke our mini fridge.
Well, all right. I believe you mean you're talking about a Wii or a GameCube, because Xbox is not Smash Bros. Smash Bros is a Nintendo property.
It might not. Yeah, I wonder if
it would be a Nintendo device that you're searching for.
We weren't.
Or maybe you were playing Tekken or Mortal Kombat.
We might. I'm now wondering what game, because it was definitely an Xbox, and it was definitely.
It was probably a fight game. It was probably Mortal Kombat. I wonder
what game it was now,
dude. The when Mortal Kombat got good again was when we were in college, so that's why I imagine it was probably something.
Now I need to think about what game it was.
Yeah, yeah.
But yes, he got so mad he literally broke, at the times, like $150.
Yeah.
Worth of stuff. Plus the freaking, he broke the fridge door.
So when he had to go and like fork out the cash for the community fridge there, I bet that hurt too.
Yes, that's like $500 of stuff.
He's even more pissed.
So mad. And and actually he was in socks, shorts, and no shirt, and he just left.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Walked out. We were all like,
see ya.
What?
So I laugh, but I kind of get that way with video games, like to this day. Like if it but usually I'll just be like, oh yeah, I'll like talk to myself. I'm like, okay, sure, that's fair.
Oh, this is how that's gonna happen. And then you throw it, but you throw it at a couch. You throw it at a couch.
You guys, that's the move. I learned it early on. So I'll say like probably my worst one would be like either Guitar Hero. I definitely smashed a guitar. Dude, when you were trying to beat Freebird on the first Guitar Hero, and like when we all like when people weren't good at Guitar Hero yet, it was like the first music game, right?
Yeah.
I got good at it pretty quick, but like learning Freebird was so freaking hard. I definitely smashed a guitar doing that. Don't worry, I just had to buy a new one.
Those were like $100 some bucks too.
It was like $89.99 for a guitar back in the day. Yeah, so that hurt. But I have also probably broken 3 to 4 controllers before I learned you just throw it at the couch, bro.
Couch, bro.
And like if you're really unlucky, it bounces and then it hits the floor like perfectly and the joystick breaks. But like most
those
of
are $50-$60 on their own. Like for a regular standard was $45 for the base model.
Yeah, new
no
remotes,
rumble pack.
New remotes are $70, $80. Yeah. Nowadays.
Wow.
Yeah. Don't do it. Throw it to the couch. Scream into a pillow. Don't embarrass yourself. Calm down. It's just a game. It's just a game.
I've gotten very mad at games before, but like I don't know. I've never had that reaction. I've gotten very upset, but not.
I get upset. I know that it doesn't matter. It's just a game. But if you think about it, when you play a game, you invest a lot of time into it. So you want that payoff. And
it's an in the moment frustration about like this. I should be able to do this.
I want to complete this task. Exactly. That's what it is. All right. So anyways, that's all we got for tonight, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. It's been a blast as always. Members, heads up, next Tuesday should be March 11th, 8:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll make an announcement on the day of, just to remind you guys too. But have your notifications on. Join us. Members only live. We do a giveaway on there. Do 2 probably, because we like to be nice to our awesome people that support this channel. And then we will be back next week with a very special guest. We can tell them who the guest is, right? It's not a secret. So we're gonna have Dan Miguel from Great Lakes Finesse.
Break it or don't.
Break it. Buy it or don't. Break it or don't. I don't care. Break what you want. Don't break what you don't want. That's fine. But anyways, I digest. Going back, we've got Dan Miguel from Great Lakes Finesse coming on next week. They're dropping like, I don't know, what is it, 20 new line items? Like, there's so many new products that Great Lakes Finesse is dropping this year. It's going to be insane.
It's essentially 2 new baits, a bunch of different colors, but then you didn't hear this from us, Rods.
If you tell Dan, I'm going to be mad, but I won't be that mad. because we love you. All right. So stay tuned. Next week, Great Lakes Finesse should be a blast. He's just gonna brag about catching like 8-pound smallmouth or whatever. Like it's no big deal. It's fine.
I know it's savage.
Right.
Every time he comes here, I'm like, oh, look what I did.
Cool. I haven't fished in a long time. Feels like forever. All right, that's it for tonight. You guys, thanks so much for watching. We love you guys. We'll see you next week. Chaz, take us out.